All right, as always, I'm starting the watch list video for tomorrow with a chart of SPY and showing you that Friday, very, very narrow range. Look at that. It doesn't even look like a candle. It looks like a little splotch, a little dab of paint, very low volume. Hopefully we get some volume back in this market, now that the official Labor Day holiday week is over. And we'll see. Actually pretty darn close to all-time high. So it's a strong market. But weak volume. It's very, very thin, so it's not trading hasn't been easy. Things have been pretty dead, right? And I only take A plus setup, so I'm not trading very much, but trying to be very, very selective. EDSA, I'm gonna watch this one. I had that huge move on Thursday, over 10 million shares traded, and then Friday, quiet red inside day, much, much lower volume. Sometimes you get a third day play where it rips again. I don't like the fact that closed at 520 when it almost hit 8 on Thursday. So most people, you got a lot of bag holders in the name. So that makes me like it a lot less, but it doesn't cost me anything to have it on a chart, so I will. TNAV is really beaten up and then gapped up a little bit on Friday. As I said in chat, for those of you that were there, I'm not a huge fan of gap play on something that's this beaten up. When it gaps up, it takes the mustard out of any type of move for the most part, as a general rule. So we've just got now this nasty red day and then another red day, but closed about the same spot. So, what I'd like to see is a narrow range for a while and then an upside break, and then you might get some short covering, but certainly not a pretty daily chart. GEVO, let me zoom in a little bit here. Had this, you can kind of picture the 280 resistance right here, picture a line right here. It broke out through that on Wednesday and is really kind of coiling right around the hole number 3. We'll be watching for a volume break to the upside and try to get involved if that happens. CHGG was on bounce watch coming into Friday, gave no trigger, and just another red day. So I'm just looking for an oversold bounce. As you watch my videos, remember, I am just looking for stuff to place day trades in the following day when you watch my videos. None of these are swing trade ideas. I do not hold overnight. I always make the joke that I don't even hold my wife overnight, all right? Pinterest, same thing as CHGG, just another red day and looking for an oversold bounce, only with a proper intraday setup. This is a weird chart here. This is Slack, right? And the symbol is WORK. Recent IPO has just been bleeding lower and then gapped way down on earnings on Thursday, but just an unbelievable rally from the lows on Thursday of 26. It went all the way to 31.21. And then gave a good portion of that back on Friday. But if we go to like a 2-day chart, right, look at that move. So I am going to watch for a potential turn back up on on Monday. But, you can't help but think anyone who got involved now, even on Friday, they, bought the gap down and had that nice run and got involved. Most of those people are underwater too, so it makes me like it less. But I do think that is worth watching. A lot of times you get, like a capitulation gap down like you did on Thursday, and then it'll go into a sideways range that maybe we can play the range. So we'll see. I'd be shocked if it rolled over and took out Thursday's low on Monday, but we'll see. Anything can happen, so it's kind of on bounce watch, all right? DOCU, big gap up on Friday. Closing above its open, big volume. We'll see if we get some kind of red to green or something like that. ENDP, big day for that stock, big volume, 25 million shares. And kind of a big breakout of, like a 1 month range. So maybe a follow through day on Monday. CARB. I think this was rumors of possible buyout. I'm not sure. It had news on Friday. And a strong day and a fairly strong close, all things considered. So we're going to watch that one. ARCI, very thin stock, but had this massive move here from 349 to 759 in one day. And then the next day, actually over $9. So, long story short, basically from the 3s to the 9s in a little over one session, and then gave almost all of it back, gapped up again, came back, found support, trying to curl back up. I would point out it only traded 88,000 shares on Friday, but I do like this little 5-day formation that it could break out of this to the upside and maybe squeeze a little bit, but, like I said earlier in another stock, a lot of bag holders in that one, so don't love it. ORGO, this one's kind of obscure. I'll have to zoom in to show you. All right, so there, nice volume, bigger volume than is traded in, a couple months, and a fairly strong close. I view this spike to $6. I don't know, what, about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. I view that as, if it gets through that, as a catalyst, not really resistance, because it's just one point in time on a chart. It's not like a bunch of shares exchanged hands there. So a strong day on Friday. Maybe we get a a red to green and a run to 6, and if it gets through 6, it could continue. So I kind of like the chart setup, and I like the big volume for that stock that it had on Friday. Pier 1, Ratty. Well, I should say a few of us were watching this one through 6, but Ratty from chat nickname Ratty, posted right before, I'll show you 5-minute candles, posted the reminder right before the 6. So once it hit 6 here, you could probably go back and look at the chat logs, and it was coiling. You probably see 4 or 5 people say, hey, this looks good through 6. I also said it on the mic sometime in here. But the beauty of the teamwork in the chat room is as it started to curl back up, that's when Ratty typed out something like PIR through 6, worth watching or something, right? So I love the teamwork in there. And then it literally broke 6 and went to 670 within a few minutes and ended up actually piercing 7 later. Before closing around, 616? Absolutely worth watching. You've got big volume for this stock. Retail has been thought to be dead, and so probably a lot of shorts in the name. I haven't looked it up, but I certainly like this one for a possible red to green on Monday. Or really, I'm going to watch that one all week. ARDX, big pop last week. It would have been Tuesday, and now just kind of flagging, working its way down on lower volume. We'll watch for a setup in that one. Then EXPR had this big spike on earnings back here. Then the very next day, it topped out at 234, came back down, and is curling back up near that area, so possible break above the earnings run high, for lack of a better way of putting it. That's plenty to watch, and we'll add some gappers in the morning as well. We'll see y'all in chat. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.